Hello producers, it's Özgün here. In this video, I'm gonna listen your demos that you sent from Discord feedback stream. And if you're ready, let's get into that tutorial. Okay, let's start with the first track.
Back and forth. Back and forth.
I think the drop leads just a bit overtaking the whole place when they come in the second part of the drop. Maybe you can just try to balance it better. And also, I like the kick, but maybe you can make a better balance with your kick and sub, the rumble, and the mid bass, just giving the texture. Maybe it can feel a bit more space in the low end. Other than that, I really like the groove.
I can hear whispers and far away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in.
I think the vocals just a little bit of too muddy. I will try to dip like 300 to 500 hertz area. Just try to find the mud frequencies that's creating some mess in the low mid region. I think you can just try to EQ the vocal and make it fit better to the mix down. I think you need some low end for the build up so it can just give a bit more tension. Now it's just too much space without a proper bass. Just check the key and EQ for the psytrance bassline. I think you can work more on the psytrance bassline in this part. Yeah, just try to find another bass or you can just try to EQ it. I think it's kind of clashing with your sub in the low region and it can be a bit more clean in my opinion. Good job, man. Let's go to the next track. This psytrance bassline, again, it's not fitting the whole mix and the groove. I think you can go for a bit more tight sidechain. It's gonna blend better with the kick. Now it's a bit too flat in my opinion. I think in the second part of the pluck, you should have something new. If you use the same frames 2 times, it's kind of sounds like copy paste. I think you should have another thing or just skip to the next part. Yeah, the problem is the psytrance bass, it's too flat. Just work on the sidechain and maybe it's EQ. The whole vibe of the drop is gonna change. Also, maybe you can just try to EQ the leads a bit better. I like this mono-ish thin lead, but the soft leads are kind of overtaking the whole spectrum. I think you can make a proper balance between them. Again, like this part is just same with the first break. If you're gonna have the same thing, just maybe add a vocal, maybe add some hook, maybe some thematic bass shot, synth shot, something like that to keep it interesting. Other than that, it's just same with the first break. The main leads in here, the soft leads, I think they are over widened. Maybe just try to check their processing. I think they could fit better in the mixdown and can sound better. I think you need some theme for the track. Now there's nothing represents the crowd system theme in the track. So maybe you can add some at least crowd noise, some maybe stadium claps, something to support your title in the track. Other than that, good job, man. Let's go to the next track.
Get ready!
Dude, you know what? The drop melody actually really good, really interesting. And it sounds fresh. Like I like the offbeat vibe, I like the synths. But I think overall mix is just clipping and the compressor master limiter is just squeezing hell out the dynamic range. And like the kick is too pushed to the back, it's not the main element in the drop. I think you should work on the mix down, maybe start balancing again or maybe check your mastering chain. Make sure nothing is clipping, every channel, every sound is gain staged. Then probably you should be fine. But I really like the vibe. Yeah, other than the clipping, the whole mix down squeezing, I really like the vibe of it. Really nice trick, the LFO becoming the main plug. That's really good. The main synth, bop, 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 it's too thin. I think you should add several more layers or work more on its layering, processing to make it bigger. Now it's kinda to sound like a dry and basic sound. I'm talking about this sound.
Get ready!
And I think you should have a different second drop, just change something, maybe bassline, maybe leads, maybe just small variations on the melody. It's gonna help you to keep the things interesting and not gonna sound like the copy-paste arrangement. Other than that, nice job. Okay, let's go to the next track. So this track is not finished, I'm just gonna skip it, but you can just send me again in private message when you finish this one. I would like to give it another listen after you're finalizing it. And I'm gonna go to the next track now. I think the riser, the dot riser, bop, 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 It's kind of clashing in terms of rhythm and pattern with the fade and drop lead. Maybe you can just try to separate them somehow, but now my mind was just confusing which sound to follow because both of have different rhythm patterns, if it makes sense. Really nice vibe. I like the rave room with Melbourne bounce kind of offbeat bassline. But the main plug in the drop is not that unique. It's kind of overused sound and also it's not fitting perfectly to the mix down. I will try to change the sound, add layers or go for another one if that was my track. You know, maybe in the very last part of the drop, you can just have a kick without the top click. And maybe you can, you know, just try to have a bit variation of the low end. It's gonna give a really cool vibe and gonna, you know, make something fresh when you finish the drop. You can just try something like that. Boom, boom, boom. Something like a, you know, trap kick. This melody is not rememberable. It starts nice, but in the second part I was expecting some repeat, but it goes just another pattern and did something, you know, something more melodic. The full cycle is kind of too long to remember if you hear it at the first time. This kind of techno influenced tracks should be more repetitive, and yeah, like also the break plug, this part melody sound can be a bit louder. You know, in here, it shouldn't go something new. It should at least repeat the first bar. Then in the second turn, you can maybe make something different. Again, it's cool, but I think this sounds and this kind of melody is kind of overused. You should try to make it a bit more original. But I really like the track. It's promising. I think you can work more on these several details that I mentioned, and it's release ready. Congratulations. Okay, let's go to the next track. The vocoded saxophone sounds really nice, and I think I know how you made it. Maybe I will make a tutorial about it in the future, but yeah, I think it sounds really unique. You know, the kick can be more punchy. Maybe I'm not sure if it fits to the genre, but with that kind of bass line, maybe you can have a bit more punchy, more EDM-ish kick. I will say that. And maybe you can layer or tweak the top bass and make it a bit more wide. It can have more space in the spectrum. The sub sounds nice, but the top area of the bass can be more wide because the drop is carried by the bass, so just try to mix it as a main lead.
Yo, push me, only never be the same again. Push me, only never be the same again. Push me, only.
I think, for example, when the vocal comes, I cannot hear the hi-hats and the drums. They way too push to the back. So if I were you, I will just try to rebalance it according to, you know, some reference tracks, similar genre, even similar key. So you can just compare A, B, the drops, and you can try to copy the balance, at least like just try to get close as much as you can. Then this is a really decent production. Again, really unique sound. I kinda like that one too. Maybe second part of the break can have some drums, so we can just try to, you know, vibe while we listen to the track. I think this kind of tracks shouldn't have this long breaks without the drum. This you can have some offbeat claps like hi-hats, check, like it can help the people to dance while they're waiting the next drop. I think this is a really solid track, good job. Okay, let's move on to the next track. Like the description is really good. Yeah. Like I kinda like the groove, but the sounds are changing too fast. I cannot follow one of the sound and see the progress of it. Some sound is coming and then another ARP coming with some delay and stuff. I think it's kinda too much stuff in too small part. So maybe you can just try to remove several layers. And I think you should check, like sometimes I feel like I hear like several sounds are clashing. I'm not sure which one, but sometimes I kind of hear some offbeat detuned sounds that is not fitting to the scale. I will double check every sound, and as I said, like just give some time to sounds to develop themselves. I'm not sure if it's genre specific, but I think again the same thing, like there are too many stuff happening too fast. Yeah, man, it's a nice psytrance track. I think you should work more on the arrangement, but in the end, you know, psytrance is just about expressing yourself. So express yourself to your friend. I think it's a good job. Congratulations. So the next track is not finished. I'm gonna skip this one, but if you finish this one as a full track, just don't forget to send me. I would like to give it another listen. So let's go to the next track.
Hey, it's me. Open the door, you gotta get back my heart. Back my heart. I'm on my way, I don't wanna stay. There's no time to waste, and I want it back. You didn't care when she was sad. I think that's all for you and I. We'll live on the edge, it's toxic and dangerous. I think that's all for you and I.
I think the acapella kinda lose a bit of frequencies because of the extraction. You can try to excite or maybe just saturate a little bit, or maybe you can boost maybe mids and give it some body and clarity. Other than that, the whole party sounds really decent.
We'll leave on the edges.
You know, the kick bass, I think it's not in that quality. You can just find a better layer for your both kick and the bass. You know, nowadays you don't just have the sub and a kick. You should for big room, even for festival big room, you should layer some mid bass, some texture, some crunch layer that just cover and give some aggressiveness to the drop. And also drop leads are kinda too generic. They can have a bit interesting layers, just more fresh layers. Just try to find some presets and trial and error on the layers. Eventually you will find something fresh. So other than that, yeah, it's a nice melody, but the bass line, the kick, the leads, they should be worked more. Like everything is kind of a bit hectic when it comes to the drop, but I really like the breaks. The break arrangements and also the balances, the sounds are cool, but drop can be so much better.
It's me, and the
And just do that when you just compare the drop and the break. You will see your drop is not bigger than the break. The break section is sound big more the drop, and which is a big problem.
cheated me. For the cards, I want to shuffle the I want to and the
You see, like the breaks are decent and big, but drop sounds overcompressed. Just work on the first feedback and then try to rebalance them and make your drops the biggest element in your track.
beginning. We'll leave on the edges and dangerous. Cheated edges, toxic and dangerous. I think that's all for you and I. We'll
For example, this climax part is again smaller than the vocal break part. Just make sure to arrange the loudness of the parts. It should helpful. I think you can just try to have another reference and even just compare the waveforms. Just try to get close as much as you can. Okay, let's go to the next track. You know, I would give the guitar sound some maybe Haas effect or maybe some delay or something to make it more big, more wide actually. Now it's too close to mono, I think, because that sound is carrying the whole break part. Let's try to make it bigger. I would have a proper build up, at least some snare roll before the drop. It's kind of too sudden to me. And maybe you don't need to start with all drums. Maybe you can just have the kick and melody. And then in the second part of the first drop, you can have the claps and the full rhythm. So you can just build it top of another like a ladder. I think in the low end there are some gap. Just find the gap because the bass not filling enough space. I think you can check with span and try to figure out which frequency you are missing. Again, the best thing to get it to find a similar reference track and just check that one in the span as well. And you can just compare your version, the reference version. And you can maybe find another layer or just fix it with EQ or just volume. But yeah, the drop doesn't contain that much low end. It's not energetic and powerful as I expected. And also, I think try to solo every track and add top of another. Start balancing with the main element, then add the rest of the elements because I think there are some hecticness in the break parts. The whole part could sound a bit more cleaner. This is all about the balances and maybe the EQs, something like that. And it's worth to double check every sound to make it sound more clean. Yeah, the melody variations are nice in the second drop. Maybe main lead is too wide and it's kind of repetitive. Maybe you can try to switch that. And yeah, the arrangement is a bit different than usual because you have something in the first part looks like a drop, but actually it's not a drop. I think it's a part of intro, but you don't make intro more than 1 minute. Maybe you can just skip this part. Intro, break, drop, break, drop. You can make something like that. It would make more sense. Good job, man. Next, go to the next track. I think it should be more loud. You can just try to master it. At least you can give some limiter to your master channel and boost it several dBs. Kind of working with these low levels. Maybe sometimes you just miss several balances, several sounds. For me, it's best to work with loud volumes to hear every detail in the track. For example, the very beginning of the snare roll is like kind of low compared to rest of the drum. The vocals are too narrow, too small. You should mix them bigger. Maybe you can have a chorus sound. It can make the vocals bigger. Just work more on the reverb. Because the next plug is like 2 or 3 times bigger than the vocal. Just try to balance them according to each other. I would lower the plug at least. You know, I'm talking with comparing with the rest of the sounds. The plugs have too much low mids or volume. Just check that. And try to balance them with the vocals. Now vocals are too small compared to plug. I think the drops lack of FX, white noise, sweep downs, sweep ups, that's kind of sounds, and you need several more ear candies to keep it more interesting. And you know, maybe to have a better groove, you can have some shuffle, some swing on every MIDI that you have. Now it's kind of too straight. You can just humanize your MIDI just a little bit to give a bit more better groove in the overall track. And I think this ARP, the high ARP, is kind of annoying sometimes. It's just never stop. I think you can maybe make it more wide and push more back to the mix. Yeah, the drop overly too dry. Just try to fill the background with like more ear candy, more background stuff. It's gonna be really nice. I really like the melodies. Everything sounds decent. Good job, man. Congratulations. Really nice track. Okay, let's go to the last track of the feedback session for today. So the track is from It's Duba. He sent the MP3, so I'm gonna listen it from here. Let's go.
¿Qué quieres hacer? No me has hecho mucho bien. He dado todo por ti y ya no importa. Ha sido un grave error mostrarte todo el dolor que me ha causado tu amor. Es suficiente. No te volveré a hablar ni un minuto más. Quiero alejarme de ti. Ha sido un lastre que me ha hecho perder la fe. ¿Qué quieres hacer? No me has hecho mucho bien. He dado todo por ti y ya no importa. Dime qué quieres hacer. No me has hecho mucho bien. He dado todo por ti y ya no importa. Ha sido un gran error mostrarte todo el dolor que me ha causado.
I loved it so far. I think the claps are kinda too big. Just make it a bit maybe less volume. And maybe the bass can be, I'm not sure. It's good, but you know, maybe you can just try to boost the mids just to hit it a bit more tight. Or maybe, you know, just try to dip the mid bass, maybe 300 hertz, just see if it's better. Now it sounds like it's too flat, but I think like small EQ touch, it can be sound so good.
No me has hecho mucho bien. He dado todo por ti y ya no importa. Dime qué quieres hacer. No me has hecho mucho bien. He dado todo por ti y ya no importa. Ha sido un gran error mostrarte todo el dolor que me ha causado tu amor.
Yeah, man, this is a really nice, almost release ready track. Even you can just skip the feedback and just release it. Everything sounds good, everything looks good. Congratulations. Today I listen your tracks that you sent from Discord. So if you want personal feedback, the tracks that I skipped, you can just send me an email or private message. I'm gonna check them when I have some more free time. So today that was it. I hope you can apply this to your own productions too. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.